Hey guys, this is Shannon with Only Find Helis coming to you from Spring Fling. It is Wednesday about, what time is it? 3 o'clock on Wednesday, and we are just getting cranked up. It's kind of neat. At lunchtime, I think they had 46, 47 registered pilots already on Wednesday. So it's been pretty cool. Sitting by an individual by the name of Mitch Marozas. Most of you probably know who he is, but just wanted to have a quick talk, and for those that don't know him, maybe get a little more introduction and get to know him, and also maybe some other things that you don't know, kind of get a feel and have a little chat. So it's nice to have you. We appreciate you sitting down with us. So give me a little background on when you started in Helis. Talk to me about how you got into this whole Heli thing.
So basically, my dad used to fly in the 80s. He got married, he kind of got out of it, but he kept all his stuff, and we had a shed at our house. So I guess I was perusing through the shed and found it, and I was like, oh, what's this? So then I was probably 2, 3 years old, and he got me a simulator. I was just messing around the simulator. And then I think about 4 or 5 years old, he got an old GMP shuttle going, and I hovered it for the first time, and I guess the rest is kind of history.
So it begs the question, how old are you?
I'm 21, and I started when I was 4 or 5 probably in real life, so I've been flying quite a while now.
A little bit. What's your favorite machine of all time?
Favorite machine of all time? I think I'd have to go Gaui X7. I mean, I've been flying it 7 years now. I know everything about it, ins and outs.
Cool. Speaking of that, you're sponsored by Gaui. What are your sponsors? Where are you currently flying?
Currently I fly Gaui X7 FZ, all Futaba equipment. They're CGY 760R Futaba servos. I fly BTX blades, Scorpion motor and ESC, and OptiPower batteries.
Cool. Going back for a second, BTX. You've been flying them 3 or 4 years or something like that, maybe?
At least 2, maybe 3 years, yeah,
Okay.
BTX stuff.
Talk to me about differences in efficiency. We've flown them as well, and they're definitely set up differently than another blade. What's your thoughts on how they feel compared to a traditional blade, and what differences do you do in setup?
I'm a big fan of a lot of pitch. I run a lot of pitch. I run like 15, 16 degrees and some stuff, and I feel like the VTX blades give a lot of not off center, I guess, but from 0 up. They're very poppy. I'm a fan of the poppy stuff. So
Nick does that as well. So you're setting up 15, 16, but you're not using 15, 16 except for extreme occasions.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
Full pitch is only in like climb outs, stuff like that. Other than that, I don't go full pitch, but I like to have the quick pop there.
Right. So we just came back from, just a second ago, he was flying one of those wicked things, actually a plane. Casey Campbell had a plane, an MXS, and let him fly it. And it was a cool flight. It was pretty neat. So you flown planes. What's your background in planes and all that? How'd that happen?
I'm not really a big background in planes. I mean, I had a trainer plane I messed around with when I was little. But I mean, I started with helicopters. I fly helicopters. My dad built a Great Plains airplane, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, and I flew an XFC. I didn't do well at all, but I mean, I can muscle them around a little bit.
So you did XFC plane and helicopter?
Yeah, I did it 1 year. I did both, and I mean, it was kind of just more for fun than anything to see what I'd do. But.
Cool. Now you mentioned are you doing nitro as well or just electric?
I have a nitro. It's just easier to bring out the electric to me. I mean, I like the nitro stuff. I'll probably start flying it some more soon.
Sure.
But
do you anticipate doing any more competitions in the near future or?
Yeah, definitely. Just this year's been a real busy year with me with school and all kinds of other stuff that I don't have time for this year. But next year or the year's coming, definitely. I enjoy that stuff.
What's your studying now?
Criminal justice.
Cool. We've got a lot of friends that are in that. When do you graduate?
Supposed to be 2020, but I might be there an extra semester. We'll see.
Yep, a lot to get going.
I switched my major once or twice from business back and forth, and it might have delayed me a semester.
Everybody does that. I think both my wife and I, we started in one major and changed it twice, and we're doing something completely different than what we went for major, so that's no big deal. If you had to give advice, Caleb's back here, he's hiding behind the camera, he's 13 years old. If you had to give advice to Caleb, or maybe not even to a younger person, but to anybody that's a pilot that's learning on development and things that they need to make sure that they get down, and what would you, if somebody came to you looking for that advice, what would you say?
I'd say one of the biggest things is setup. A well set up helicopter is a world of difference. You could be a really good pilot, but if your stuff's not set up right, it's just not going to look good. Secondly would be, it's not about how fast you can move the sticks. If you can slow down, smooth stuff out, and even like set maneuvers for contests, if people practice those really force you to learn different orientations you're not comfortable with, and then you could incorporate them into like your freestyle stuff.
Sure. And I'm sure you would highly recommend everybody learning every single orientation before getting into crazy stuff. And
I think my dad had me hovering for 4 years. I mean, I knew how to do 3D in a sim, but he's like, I don't know if you're ready. So I mean, I hovered, did all my orientations for years, and I mean, if you like it, you're not going to get bored of it, but you don't need to hover for years, though.
But that's taken you a long ways, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I knew all the orientations before I did flips or anything.
Sure. So you mentioned Futaba. Obviously, they just came out with a 760. They recently talked about the 2.0 release of firmware, which enables a 760 microsecond centering pulse rather than 1520, which gives you a quicker, more reactive feel on cyclic. But talk to us about the CGY 760 and your experiences with that relative to before when you flew the 750.
All right, so basically what you said, it's basically putting like tail servo responsiveness in your cyclic. So I mean, everything's happening pretty much twice as fast. Your gyro can correct twice as fast. Your stick inputs are registering twice as fast. So I mean, it's really like your cyclic feels more like a tail now. It's the biggest differences I think with the 760 from the 750 are one, Puro comp is just so much better now. You could sit there, just peg the rudder and go up and down collective. You don't even got to touch the cyclic anymore. I mean, it basically flies itself. That and the actual roll rates are much better. You can just hold it and it feels like a rudder when you're flying with the cyclic now. It just holds the same rate no matter how much pitch you're feeding in there. So everything feels a lot more linear.
And what radio are you flying now?
The 18SZ.
Okay. I know there's a difference in sticks between 16SZ and 18SZ. Have you played with the 16 to see what difference in feel is? I know it was like the 14SG, but...
Yeah, I haven't played with the 16SZ at all. I had a 14SG. I really liked it. I mean... The case though is similar, and the 18 if not the same. So I mean, I haven't played with the 16 yet. No.
Okay. Okay, guys, we're back running again.
Oh, we're back running again.
And I'm behind the camera. Caleb had some questions after we turned everything off. We started talking about head speeds and different machines and all that, and you were talking about pitch and head speeds, and y'all talk it out. And what's your thoughts on the head speeds, Mitch?
I'm not a big fan of the crazy high head speed stuff. I mean, at most I'll run 2200. And I usually stay around 2150. I think it's hard to fly at a high head speed. I know he's cranking it up. What, 2400 now? You said?
Oh no, I run at 2250 somewhere on my
2250. So I mean, a little on the high side for me, but I mean, it's all personal preference stuff. I'm a fan of a little lower head speed and more pitch, but everybody's different. I just think it's easier to fly at a lower head speed. It is.
I flew Gary Wright's. It's 516 at what, 12, 15, 17.
Gary loves that low head speed stuff.
I got like 12 minutes off.
Oh yeah.
That's a fun little thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really low head speed, but he's got 16 degrees of pitch on it or something.
Yeah. All right. We'll get your 700 out there. We'll take a little head speed out. We'll give you a little more pitch. We'll dial it down. We'll see how you like it. I'm sure he'll switch it back right after, but.
You go over there, you will dial the wheel down, then right after.
So what would you like to ask Mitch and what you've seen him flying to be able to help you?
For an average person, how would you say to keep a flight interesting the whole time and not get somebody bored after a little bit?
Ooh, how to keep a flight interesting? See, that's hard for me. I feel like I start repeating myself.
That's what I have issues. I'll start repeating myself and like I'll do a pure flip 20 times, but I may do narrow on TikTok 10 times and then...
See, I try to never do Puro flips at an event or like a contest because everybody does Puro flips and everybody's seen it. But I have a problem with repeating stuff too. I think the biggest thing is just try new stuff when you're at the field by yourself, and you'll find stuff like, oh, that was cool to do. And even I'll forget to do it. I'll go to an event, but then I'll sit down and be like, all right, what's something else I can do? After 3 or 4 flights, I feel like I've done everything I could do. But if you sit down, be like, oh, I remember I did this, I did this, I did this, and you just throw them in there.
The one thing that helped me with finding new things was just watch a few videos of Mirko.
Yeah. Mirko's good at. Mirko likes doing a lot of interesting stuff and unique stuff. Yeah.
I was watching a video of him the other day. It's just crazy good.
Yeah, Mirko's a great pilot.
His autos are pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching a few of his learning his autos.
But Mitch doesn't know how to do autos, right?
We'll go out there and do some autos.
That was really cool. Was that Urcha
Urcha thing?
That was fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's
little
what
limbo
we hadn't
thing.
talked about. You're an auto man. Give me some help on that.
Autos, I mean, I feel like autos are just a feel thing. You just got to be able to look at the blades, and it's basically like say you're doing tumbling autos. It's just like doing flips in idle up, except you're pulling down instead of trying to keep it up. So the whole time it's just positive, negative, just feed it in there.
Just make sure you let it get enough time to get the head speed back up in between your flips. Trust me on that.
I mean, you can kind of do constant flips. It's just as long as you get the collective right.
But
yeah, every once in a while, you got to keep it moving. If you don't move it, you're gonna find out real quick you weren't moving it enough. But it's all a feel thing. I mean, the simulator isn't the best thing to learn autos on. It's just not that accurate. But it's great for learning other maneuvers. I mean, that's what I learned everything on.
What's your coolest auto?
Coolest auto.
Blade stop.
I've been doing it a lot now. I like just coming in inverted. I'm not a big fan of overspeeds, but if you use the overspeed to do something, then I'm a fan of it. So I'll just speed it up and just pull full negative until it gets way up there, and then the blades will be like, all right, we're out of head speed. Then I'll try to flip it over and try to bring some up at the end and kind of slide her in. But I just think it looks cool. I mean, it's not that hard or anything, but...
When I've been doing that, I've seen you bring it in, kind of do that same idea, go inverted, do a half roll, and then bank, turn around. Then
Oh, some Kyle Dole stuff? Yeah, Kyle's been doing that stuff with the Nitro lately.
I'm practicing that.
That's a hard one, because if you run out of head speed, there's no room to save it.
We were watching him, I think his last Spring Fling, he went out and just did a whole flight of autos. Well, it wasn't a whole flight, like a half flight of autos. He was doing one where he did like 3 rolls in a row, and then he did one where it's tick-tock, and then a loop, and all kinds of cool stuff.
We'll have to do some auto stuff here. Yeah, we'll get Casey to do some kind of auto something, some contest, or land on the mat or something. That's hard too, trying to land on the mat.
Autos never end good when you get in the contest, for some reason.
Well, we were at Huntsville last weekend. We did some auto contests, and it kind of ended up in like a 3-way tie between me, Nick, and Dole. So we decided we all climbed at the same time, like 15 seconds. Someone said 3, 2, 1, go, and it was the first one to the mat won, and that got interesting real quick. We had 3 700s all going for this little 4x4 mat, and it was just a little scary, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I don't see how he can beat Nick. I think he is the king between him and Mr. Bodos. Mr. Bodos has different styles, but
Nick does those sky-high autos everybody likes, and yeah, he does the funnels, the TikToks, all that.
I have a hard time even seeing the thing, much less controlling it.
Yeah, Nick gets way up there.
Way up there.
All right, well, good talking to you.
You too.
Let's go see some flights.
All right.
He does an awesome event. I was telling Casey earlier today this was one of our most favorite events for a lot of reasons. It's just the feel of it, the way that the event's handled. It's just a down-home kind of thing. Caleb loves the cooking, of course. They have breakfast, and breakfast is awesome. Lunch is good, but breakfast is awesome. And the facilities, everything's great. So I think Mitch would definitely agree. If you and even not just spring, but they have a fall mow down and all that. If you've not been to this field here in Fredericksburg, you need to come.
Agreed.
So again, appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you guys later.
No problem. See ya.